So thank you again for joining. We have got many of our new and existing partners that come from around the world. So we have partners coming from Kenya, Spain, Singapore, Brunei, the UAE, Nigeria, in the US, Malaysia, Chile, UK, Italy, Dubai, Colombia, Australia, and I think I've mentioned Spain just now already. So, and then I probably have missed out some of the other people. I do apologize. There's no particular sequence to this. It's just whoever have registered on there. But welcome, everyone. I'm seeing a Canada there too. Sorry, thank you. So I will start my presentation now. I'll be showing you my screen. So let me know if you couldn't see my screen shortly. There we go. So for this one, I'm going to talk specifically about the live occupancy control system. I think many of you have worked with us before, for many years before, that we have been providing people counting system for the world. So we are a global leader in there. We're headquartered in the UK. We manufactured in the UK. We are a manufacturer of both the hardware as well as we build our own software platform. So all the design and development are 100% in-house. We do continuously reinvest more than 24% of our revenue into our R&D. So we have a very strong R&D, hence our product have got quite a lot of functions, which I will briefly mention later. It is an in-house R&D team, so we're able to, we do have a lot of partners that suggest requirements, market demand to us, and we're able to customize all the software to specific customers' needs. You probably find that your customers and our customers, they are usually big conglomerate, big retail chain, big blue chip company, so where they have very specific business requirements, and hence it is part of the service that we do a customized business reportings for them. So we have served multiple sectors from retail, fast food, restaurants, museums to smart buildings and transportation sectors as well. So prior to COVID-19, our research team have has always been quite responsive to demand from the market, and we have got, as I mentioned, a lot of feedback from the market, from end customers as well as from our partners, and we have done all this occupancy way prior to COVID-19. So we are able to quickly put something together which is then specific for this solution. So the topics of this webinar, many businesses are reopening after the lockdown, and they are now asking what they need to do. So FootfallCam Safe Occupancy is something to help them to limit the number of people into their premises. So I will also talk about how it works, the key features, benefits, and also we will share the key market segments for this solution. So maybe not everyone, but I will mention what are the key market segments and the marketing and sales support that we will provide to you, and also some case studies. So let's move on about why we're seeing a huge demand from end customers. It is because when they are reopening, those that have already been kept open, those that are providing essential services like the supermarkets, banks, and government departments, many have already starting to needing to put something in place because they have got to comply with the government guidelines on social distancing. But now we have a lot of businesses that have been forced to close. They are very eager to reopen, and they know that they have got to comply with these guidelines. The other thing is also they have to be seen by protecting their employees and also to provide the reassurance to visitors. Hence, they're needing some form of measures in place to maintain the number of people in their stores. The safe occupancy system is automated and is the most cost-effective than having to deploy an employee to do a manual counting. There are also long-term benefits to the solutions, which we will cover more shortly. So helping businesses to comply with social distancing. So again, when we say many businesses are planning to reopen, they are now stuck with that big problem of how they're going to reassure the employee. We already have many retail chains come to us where they are allowed to open. For example, here in the UK, they are allowed to open on the 1st of June, but they are not reopening their whole chain because some of the employees are reluctant to go back to work because of the fear of it. They are also worried about their customers not coming in to shop. So even if they're opening, they may not have the enough businesses, for that. So they are wanting to find ways to be able to resort that. And many businesses have resort to assigning security guards. So they have opened, like supermarkets, they have opened. They resort to security guards because they have to react very quickly. So they have deployed them many weeks ago when they first during the lockdown, but it is costly, inaccurate, and at the end of the day, it doesn't provide them with an evidence for compliance. So FootfallCam Safe Occupancy helps to limit the maximum number within their confined premises, and it's automated. So it's cost effective and it's accurate. It is also it's scientifically driven and with a proven accuracy. It is also accountable, so coming with the live dashboard and management reports to provide evidence and actionable plan for them. So a comparison between manual counting versus automated counting. This is probably something for you to share with your customer, to tell them, because a lot, as I mentioned, those that are going to reopen, they're actually not so sure which is the better way for them. So a comparison, it is a must-have for measuring occupancy. It is a must-have. They have to do it now. Every businesses, or actually not just businesses, any company that need to reopen, they must, is a requirement now. They have to be in accordance to that. But they are juggling between whether or not it's manual counting or automated counting. Now, there are a few points to compare. One is the cost of setting up the system. So setting up a personnel deployment, whether it's security guards, which is the most common, or they're deploying their own staff, they're obviously a hourly rate for the manpower. So depending on the country, it could be within that range. So per month, it will be that amount. So in comparison, FootfallCam Safe Occupancy, it is a one-off setup fee. So companies and businesses, they already know to exercise the social distancing is not going to be for the next few months. Government has already announced it will be at least for the whole year or even longer. Until obviously either a cure or a vaccine has been developed. So that is a long-term thing for them. So if there is a per month, so they will have got to think at least a minimum of a year. So in comparison with the cost, then this is way much lower and way much affordable. The accuracy with any system, software system, you are able to prove the accuracy, and the system is above 95%, and we say our average is 98% accuracy. With the manual counting, again, it is difficult to measure their accuracy. It is non-verifiable, and the accuracy, it would really depend on how accurate the security guard is doing the counting. We are requiring a non-stop manual counting from the first hour to the last hour, and also the number of people you deploy. If you're deploying only 1 or 2 people, then obviously the accuracy will be way much lower, because the security guard will have got a lot more job to do apart from counting. They will have got to man the door. And it's non-systematic control. It is subject to human judgment, whereas this one is data-driven control. And we do have an accuracy audit report with a video proof that they can do and look at any time. There is no long-term benefit. As soon as you pull away your security guard, that is the end of that system. But whereas with this automated counting, we will talk a bit more about all those long-term benefit and additional use cases so that you can share with your customer. So apart from occupancy counting, the people counting camera is there. Obviously, it can do a lot of things like footfall, outside traffic, returning customer, dwell time, all those in-store analytics, heat map, queue counting. So we'll mention a bit more on that one. So we're going to look into how it works, how it actually works. So I'm going to show on this schematic diagram. So you are having a people counter at the entrance. So it's counting people coming in as well as going out. Then we measured the occupancy. You set a occupancy that you like for your store, is usually your new occupancy. Then what we do is as people go in, the in minus the out will then give you the number of people still inside the premises. So it continues counting until it's full, then it changed to a red screen. Until someone went out, then it will be green and allow the next person to go in again. So so in 4 simple steps is that you will install the camera there at the entrance, and then we will do the configure. We will configure how many cameras for a specific area to do the counting. And then you will have a display at the entrance so that you can tell the customers, this is customer facing, so you can tell the customer whether or not they can come in or whether or not they should queue. So this is a display for them. You will also have an alert for the staff. So when the occupancy limit is breached, so maybe customers is ignoring the sign and still keep coming in, they will get a timely alert so that they can react to it quickly. So showing you a real life video. So this is where you will have the camera looking down towards the floor at the entrance. So this way is going out and the other way is coming in. So this is then where it starts counting as people go in. So now it's full. So it should say stop and people should queue until a person go out. Then the next person can come in and it's now full again and people needs to queue. So I will play that again. There is another dashboard. So this is another monitor. This is showing a live dashboard. You can see that it's updated every second. So with this one is for the store manager, so they can keep an eye out and see what their occupancy is like in their store at that moment. Okay. So the components, as we mentioned just now very briefly, the components would be the hardware, which is the camera, which is a 3D camera with 2 lenses, and it also have a Wi-Fi dongle for Wi-Fi tracking. We are all GDPR exempt, so with the privacy concern, we are all exempted from the GDPR because all the data that we collect are anonymized. So you will have the hardware. This is what you would buy from us. And then you will have a customer-facing dashboard. I will talk about the different options that you could do that. You can provide them, or if the customers already have a screen, they can make use of any existing screen that they already have. And then you will have employee-facing dashboard. Again, that one you can make use of their existing computer that they already have or any screen that they have, or they can use their tablet, their mobile, or any display that they could show to show the dashboard. So this is for the employee, for the store manager, and also a staff alert notification system. So this one, it can alert onto their email, onto their smartphones, smart devices, or you know, on their smartwatch. They can do that, and they will also get the reports. So many of you are familiar with our system where we have lots of predefined people counting reports. So likewise for occupancy, we have all those reports for for the store, so that store manager would be able to see throughout the week which time they are more vulnerable, so that they can make actionable plan. For top management, they'll be able to see across all their estates, across all their stores, so that they can see which stores that need more support from them. So the system package is we sell you the hardware, which is the cameras. We sell you at your reseller pricing on there from that. And typically our partners would sell at a price like this to the end user. We say this is our manufacturer suggested retail price. This is a price what typically the market is prepared to pay on there. And we're providing the software as a lifetime license. Is free. So as long as they own their camera, they will be able to access the software to get their data. We also provide the Android tablet app so that if they want to display on their Android tablet, is included. So all the display, the customer facing and the employee facing dashboard, and also the reportings. The reportings comes in the software. So they are all inclusive with the hardware. It's very quick and easy to install. Many of you have probably installed our system. As you know, is you run one cable, either Cat5 or Cat6. They are is powered over Ethernet, and we provide the injector on there. So it's very easy for installation, and we provide installation support as well. At the moment, we have a short delivery lead time. So although we do have a very, very high demand from the world, because every business now needs it, but we still have very good stock level, and we have already upped our production. So for the time being, we're still able to provide at that sort of lead time. So you should be able to get that within a week. So the key features of the safe occupancy, it is real time. So on the customer facing and employee facing displays, they will show the occupancy in real time, less than 1 second update. It is accurate. I will mention a little bit more about how we prove our accuracy. It is efficient, because then your employee could do other work in the more store operation roles instead of doing the counting rows at the door. It is convenient with all the web-based display and all those reports. It is timely. We will alert the staff member instantly, also in real time, so that they can react to it very quickly. It is also scalable. So whether or not they're one store or a chain of a few thousand stores, that can be done within a very, very short time frame. And so in terms of scalable by volume, also in terms of scalable by features, by functions. So they might start off with the occupancy at the door, but later they will be, they will also be able to use it for footfall, outside traffic, sales conversion rate, queue counting, heat map, and all those other features. It's privacy friendly. As I say, we are exempt from GDPR, and it's also proven. So we have, this is already field tested. We are here for many years, and have also installed in thousands of locations worldwide. So I'm going to talk about the key functions. So at the entrance, you will have the display. So it switched from the green, welcome, you can enter screen, to a red when the threshold is, the capacity has reached. You can also have an audio warning. If you like, a mixed response. Many retailers do not want that, because that is almost the same kind of warning the whole day round. So they may not want it, but this is completely up to you, as long as your display can play audio. It is a real-time update, data updates of less than a second. So this one then can inform your customer whether or not they should queue or they can come in. Then you will have the employee-facing dashboard. So this one will have all the occupancy throughout the day, and also now again a red and green light whether or not their occupancy has reached. So this is what usually that some bigger supermarkets, they might have security guards on duty there. Then this is probably the screen that the security guards will be looking at. So they usually be looking at the CCTV screen as well as this screen, so that when this is then breached, they can then go to the door and action on it. The URL is easily accessible, so it can be displayed on any screen for them. And then you also have an alert. So some stores, their staffs are not going to be looking at their screen all the time. So then they will be receiving an alert. So the alert and the dashboard, they will be getting both. But some stores, the store manager would just not be glued to the screen. So they will rely on the alert most of the time. And then with the reports, so reports are things so that they can keep track of the store occupancy level. It is also something for them to prove their compliance if they ever need to, but it's more importantly is for store manager to look at that and see, you know, throughout the different times. So these are from morning to evening, and these are the last few days, so that they can see when their occupancy is really, really high, or whether or not it has been more than what they set. So they can look at that. Then they can action on it. So maybe these times are more vulnerable, what they can do about that. And obviously for top management, if they're looking at across their branches, so they might see some branch in some area is more easy to reach maximum, so they can probably provide more support to those branches that are busier. Now, one point to note though, this is when we say it breached the occupancy, it is actually the new level. So because when we probably want to be careful to use the word breach. So because for businesses, that is the last thing they want. And then if they have proved to that, it is not to their advantage. But actually it's the other way around, because we need to remember that this new occupancy level, this capacity, it is the new capacity. So, for example, a supermarket that may usually have a maximum capacity of 1,000, for example, that maximum capacity is the one that is defined probably by the fire brigade for fire safety regulation. So that is an original maximum. But now, because of the COVID-19, in order to allow customers to be able to exercise safe social distancing, they have got to reduce their new occupancy down to probably 20 to 30% of their original capacity. So for example, in this store, if the original capacity was 100 and now they're reducing it to the 20% of the maximum, so the new occupancy, new capacity is 20. So now we say, okay, what if a customer ignore my sign and 2 of them have come in? So now you have 22 instead of 20. So, but your capacity inside your store is still only just 22%. Yeah, so they are still way far from the original maximum. So they even at 22% is not something they want. They're wanting 20%, but even at 22%, they're not breaching any regulation, because they are way down. So usually you might want to suggest them if you allow yourself a comfortable buffer. So for example, if you want to say, the maximum I want to allow is 30%, which is then 30. And then I want to allow some buffer. So I might then set my occupancy to 25 or 20. So even then if I have a few customers that just come in ignoring the sign, I'm still within my well within my comfort zone. So this is something that you might want to explain to them, because they might not think that clearly. So this is something you share, then it really then puts them in a very comfortable pace, because then in here, even if it says 25, they know they're well within. But obviously if they're seeing it is 60, then it is something they need to action on, but it is something that they also know that 60 is still only at 60%, not at the 100% maximum. So this is something they should bear in mind. Another thing is a widget. So we have not talked about this previously. This is a widget that for your customers to put on their website. So you have your occupancy in the store. You can then display the real-time occupancy of the store on their website. So we provide a widget so that their web designer can copy and paste those codes onto their web page. So it's a very simple setup for them because it is all predefined, pre-set up for them. Now, why would they want this? Actually, this has been a requirement from many retailers way before COVID-19 that they were wanting to show their footfall. A few things to show that is because especially for COVID-19, now when they have to exercise their occupancy level, so when it's very peak hour, the customers will actually have to queue outside. So, and they feel it's their responsibility. In fact, it is actually their responsibility to keep the safety distance of 2 meters outside the premises. So retailers are under a lot of stress on that because that queue can go very long and they feel that they have to manage them. And a lot of time, the outside of the premises are not their property. So customers can be queuing up towards the road or into the car park or into other people's shop. So they feel that obviously the retailers are not at is not at the dispense where they can mark queuing line when it's not within their property. But then they feel the pressure that they have got to maintain that because after all, those are the customers coming into their stores. And obviously to manage the customers' experience, because the customers can be queuing for an hour before they are let in. So those are very difficult to control, and they have been asking something where they can have a proactive approach to influence their customer traffic. So when they're putting this on the website, so if I'm a customer, before I leave my house, I can check on, I probably search, for example, a supermarket near me. And I will then see, one of the supermarket, and they have this tracker, and they're showing me what is the occupancy now. So if it's full, then we will have a prediction for the future. So we have a prediction for the rest of the day and also for the next day, so that they can see what it will be like in an hour's time. So maybe I'm checking now, so I see that, oh, it's quite full, but in an hour time, the traffic usually then goes down, then I might go out an hour later instead of now. And if I do go out now, I kind of already expect it to queue. So it is a better way to manage customers' expectation too. So this is something we have already done pre-COVID. It's more for factories, offices where they have, and also campuses where they have catering facility on site. So they want to stagger their employee lunchtime. So this is something that we have already done for that. So with this prediction engine, we are using historical data. So for example, this time last week, and also all the previous weeks, and also take into factors that are affecting the traffic this week, because it could be a very good weather now, so a lot of people are coming out, so affecting that as well. So this assists the retailers, and also for the retailer, they can show to the community, to the wider community on their website. So it's almost a marketing brand image for them that they are doing a proactive approach in that. So we also have APIs to integrate with your applications. So we have a lot of our partners, resellers, that they do integrations themselves. They take our data as part of an IoT data, so to integrate with their own applications to provide a more powerful solution to their customers. And also a lot of our the end users, the retailers, the businesses, they also want to integrate with their own, for example, retailers with their BI system, business intelligence. For smart building, for offices, they will be going on to the smart building platform to do energy optimization, facility utilization management. So for all that, so the API you can grab the data directly from the counter or through our server. So we have an API document which we will share. So I can briefly show you here. that looks like this. So if you require that, please request that. We also have it on download on our website under Download Center. So this one, so all the scripts are there. So we can use push or pull to go into your database. So all the scripts are there for you to try on. But we also, when we're doing the integration, we usually would be supporting you, because and also your end customers, because sometimes they might try out a different way. They might have a specific request as well. So we do support that. The reason being is the more that you integrate, the more they will roll out. So retailer won't integrate if they're only just installing for 10 stores. So as soon as they integrated it, when they spend the effort for the integration, they will be doing a national rollout. So that is quite important for us. So that is where we provide full support on the integration. Another functions we have is to do a relay connection to any electronic door. We have done for like, for example, those glass sliding door, so that you can control that, and also vehicle a barrier, so that if the capacity is full, when you are displaying the stop sign, the camera will actually send a signal to control the door so that it's closed, it won't open. So this, if your customer already have an automatic door, an electric door, then you can actually control it that way. Then you will be stopping those that are ignoring the stop sign from coming in, so because they physically can't come in. Of course, you will be controlling those that are coming from the outside. You'll be controlling through the sensor from the outside, while still allowing people to exit from the inside. It is a GPIO. Many of you probably are very familiar with GPIO pin for electronic door. So it is a relay. It's just a simple 2-wire relay. We will provide you with the wiring diagram as well. Additional use cases. This is what we are mentioning about. So for your customers, they would be pleased to know that when they're investing in this system, it is not something just for short term. They need it for short term, so they will buy now for short term, but as a competitive advantage, they would like to know that they actually have lots of use cases after this. So they're not just installing it and for just 1 year. It's because apart from the occupancy monitoring, the FootfallCam is always measuring all these matrices. So we're always measuring how many people that come into your store, how many people walk past your store outside. Of those, that means a turn-in rate, how many outside that come in. A lot of retailers will call that a shop window conversion. And we also measure how long they stay in the store and whether or not they have come before. So returning customer, cross-shopping, all those, and combining with the sales data, that you will get sales conversion. Sales conversion means how many people that come in have made a purchase. So for retailers, this is a key data to calculate the sales conversion rate. They are already using this as a KPI to monitor their store performances. So many retail chains are doing that. So they literally take that as a store performance and issue bonuses or performance review. So many of our retailers who are using that are already using this as a KPI. So now it's even more reason they should install it, because they would need the occupancy tracking. But in the meantime, they know that in the future, they will be able to use that as a KPI. Now, supermarket, usually supermarket are not worried about their sales conversion rate, because anyone who goes into a supermarket, they usually will buy. But supermarkets, what they are needing to manage is how many tills they need to open, because usually they have lots of tills, but they only open as many as they require at that time, because they redeploy their staff. from stocking the shelf to the tills when it's needed, and then redeploy them back to stocking the shelves. So that's what a supermarket's store manager do. They are redeploying the staff from anywhere. So with the footfall, what they could do is they can predict what it will be at the checkout. So for example, if a store manager is seeing, oh, I have 50 people coming in now. So usually supermarket have an average shopping time of between 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Usually 45 minutes might be the usual shopping time. So the store manager will predict in 45 minutes time, these 50 people will end up at the till for checkout. So she will be able to maybe, okay, plan in 45 minutes time to open 10 more counters, 10 more tills. Or in another situation where she's seeing, okay, I have reduced in footfall now, so in 45 minutes time, I won't have that many people at the till, then I can start organizing those from the till to go and stock up the shelf because people will have been purchasing things already. So this is something they're very useful for them for managing their staff for operation. So this is something they will see a lot of value in that. Or they can also double them up for queue counting at the till, and also heat map and zone tracking within their stores. So you may find that supermarkets might start off just buying the occupancy system at the door to start off it, so you get your foot into supermarket industry, but later on then they might install more for the other functions. These are the extra functions where you can extend the system. So it is the same counter, the same device. So when you put it at the door, usually they will use it for people counter, push notification, connecting with the PA system, with the EAS, integrate with the EAS system, and also double up as like a CCTV at the door. Then if they install a camera at the till, so you can do queue counting, heat map, or in anywhere apart outside the store, we can have a zone alert, because we have some retailers that have like maybe a high value ticket product here. So they want to be alerted when a customer is there for a threshold. So maybe a customer is there for 5 minutes and above, then a staff member may want to then go into there and to do the selling. So then this is more effective selling. So we have done many of those integration, and also path map, to see where your customer goes. So we have lots of all those additional functions. So again, it's the same device, same price. Where you put it in different places, you might activate the different functions. And sometimes you activate the different functions concurrently. For example, if you put it at the door, you do the people counting, as well as the occupancy counting. You can also double up as a Wi-Fi hotspot. Many retail chain, I wouldn't say small retail chain, many retail chains that they have with small stores, they may not have offer the Wi-Fi access to the customer yet, but obviously a Wi-Fi availability in retail is almost a given. From shoppers. Shoppers would expect that if they walk into your store, you will get free Wi-Fi. So a lot of those retail chains are still not providing that, or at least they can save their cost on their current Wi-Fi hotspot provider, because with the camera, we already have the Wi-Fi infrastructure there. We do not charge, or we do not provide any Wi-Fi connection. They will just reutilize their own broadband, because when they are connecting, they obviously already have broadband for their till system and for the people counting system. So they can just open that access out for the customers as well at no cost, no extra cost. So this is a Wi-Fi hotspot many are also using. So you can have multi-functions running concurrently on the same camera. Now we want to talk about the display screen options. So there are a few options how you want to display that. One is that you provide a tablet, an Android tablet. We do not provide that. So you might want to, you can provide that as part of your service, your product line, you will need a stand at the entrance, or your customers already have some sort of tablet that they want to reuse. Any screen that they have, they want to reuse, then they can just connect up onto the Wi-Fi and get access. So we obviously provide them with the link, with the username, password for them to log in on there. So with that way, or sometimes they will come to you and say, I already have a computer. So if they have a computer, they can obviously connect up to any TV screen or any computer monitor that they have and use that. But some might say, I don't want to put a bulky laptop or a desktop at my entrance. But I already have a monitor. So I have a 40-inch TV monitor, or I have a digital signage that I could use, but my digital signage cannot go online. So in that case, then you might request a mini computer from us. We do sell this. It's a mini computer, it's the size on your palm. Then you can secure that behind the monitor with the Visa mount. It's then connected via a HDMI cable. It's a USB-C to HDMI cable. So that way, you're connecting up that way to go online to access the dashboard. A third option is on a digital signage, which we provide. Another product of ours is Magic Mirror, which is an interactive digital signage. So we have a size of 55-inch and also a size of 24-inch. So 24-inch probably will be more suitable for this scenario. You can request our price list if your customers would want to look in that. Typically, that is between $1,200 to $1,500 dollars with that. Now, you might find some, because this is obviously a more expensive option. The most popular one will be the tablet, because the tablet will usually cost around less than $200, and some customers may already have that. However, you might sometimes find that some customers, they do not want to invest in a lot of tablet if they have no other use, but all retailers would have some form of digital signage, and they feel that if investing in a digital signage is something they will use long term, and you might find some retailers are more willing to invest on the digital signage than the tablet, then we will be able to supply that. This digital signage, we can work with any digital signage. It doesn't have to be ours, as long as it can go online. Our digital signage, though, already has a computer on board, so it can go online already. And apart from then, in the future, it comes with a camera as well. So because it's an interactive digital signage, after this COVID-19 requirement, they can repurpose that for brand immersion, for interactive, for virtual dressing, for virtual makeup, for endless aisle, for kiosks, for menu, for connecting to the e-commerce site, for online ordering, all those. So those have those long-term benefit as well. So the options are there for them to choose which display option they want to go for. Now on some case studies we have already implemented in many government departments in different countries, and we have more retailers now. By now, we're installing thousands every week now. So one of the example, government facilities, many of you, maybe you would find that is not your normal client, but now they are almost the first one that they have got to have the occupancy system there, because they are the one that set the regulation. Then obviously they need to be shown that they are complying with it. So with this, we have done all their immigration towers and their smart ID replacement center. What we want to showcase here is the multi-language. So we are able to display multi-language. You will need to provide us with the translation. So for example, this one, our partner needs to provide us with the translation, so we can put it on there for you. Naturally, those that have been open the supermarkets, grocery stores, banks as well. So many supermarkets chains that have done that for that. This is something we want to show is this we have done pre-COVID. So this is for more big crowd premises. This is more for crowd control. So at that time, it was not for, it is for them to be able to control the crowd as and when needed to avoid stampede. So this, for example, is the mosque in Mecca in Saudi Arabia. It is done by our partner there in Saudi Arabia. This mosque has a capacity of 1.5 million. And at peak time, they do have that many people there, probably more. And this project involves a total of 2,000 cameras there. The mission is a mission critical crowd control because it is true health and safety issue there. I'm zooming in just to show you a bit more about what we did for this. So, sorry, I just need to, there. So this is where they put cameras in their all the entrances and exit. So then we will be able to count the occupancy in this area. And then if they then enter, then on the inner circle, the center court, and also the other area of the buildings, and we can put in 2 thresholds. So for example, the first threshold you can set at say 65% of the total capacity, and then the second threshold at about 90% of the total capacity. So when it's below a first threshold, we give in a traffic light indicator, we give it green. Anything in between the 2 thresholds will be yellow. So the security guard manager in the control room will be able to look at this screen and say, okay, these are the ones that I would need to start deploying my security guards to those areas. These are the ones that has already reached my 90% occupancy rate. So that my security guards should already be there to exercise the 1 out, 1 in policy. So this is more not just for places of worship, also for where there are big crowd in stadiums. You know, those sports stadiums when you have sports activity or a concert, exhibition halls. So where they need to again also control the crowds at different area. So for that. So what we're going to talk about all our sales and marketing supports. Obviously, you know more about selling. You are the expert in sales. So what we are doing here is to share with you what is more specific for this COVID-19 requirement. Now, you might find that the key market segment is quite different from your usual customer base. The characteristics of the demand for this solution is that it is immediate and it's high demand. So anything that is high demand, usually it will take times for people to get used to it, then starting to require it before it becomes a high demand. So when it becomes a high demand, it becomes a commodity. So that's the usual progress of any product. But however, with this, it is a very unique case where it is immediate. And the demand is extremely high. As we mentioned, the world wants it now. So almost every businesses, every company, and even the government departments, they require them. So, and the demand is there to last at least a year because it's already said that the social distancing needs to be kept at least for a year. So this is a very unique situation that we are in. It is a big opportunity for that. And the key decision makers are the top management. Now, again, when we say usually this top management, they're not the one who make the procurement. The bigger the company, they will have a procurement team. So for anything that in high demand or anything, they will go through a proper bidding process. But because this is so immediate, And also a lot of times is the top management needing to make a strategic plan. So the purchase of this kind of a system, or the decision to make whether or not to deploy security guards or install a or install a system, is a strategic plan from the top management. So it is a very unique combination in that way. The reason being, because of that, you have a very short sales cycle. Again, this is very different. Usually, those of you who have worked with us together as our partners, we usually find a typical sales cycle for people counting system could range from 3 months to 9 months. Some could even be longer. And then they will come back to you and say, okay, we are ready to go ahead now. When you almost think that you have lost it. So that's how a normal sales cycle could be. It's quite long, but this one is typically 3 weeks. So your customers will need, so we need to be prepared that your customer will need a quotation very quickly, a demonstration very quickly, and then they kind of make the decision very quickly. And again, they would demand a national rollout. Almost it's like, would you be able to do it next week? So be prepared for that demand. It is also a very high conversion rate from your cold calls to them. So these are all very specific characteristic for this solution. Now, the target markets could be very different from what your normal customer base are, because as we mentioned, supermarkets, grocery stores, they're not fast food chains, they're not the usual one who would need a people counting system, because their customers, those that goes into their store, they usually buy. So typically they don't need it. But now they're almost the first one that would have to have this system in place in order to continue running their, keep opening. So fast food chain, likewise, they're the one that they have they're usually closed, or those that are open are only allowed to do online ordering, online delivery. So they obviously need to reopen their door for people to go in, to dine or to take away. Now, unlike a restaurant, so restaurant would also need an occupancy system, but they are being able to manage the occupancy easier just by relocating their tables. So as long as, if they have 10 tables, they obviously could only cater for 10 groups of customers. So it's easier for them to manage. But fast food chains is different. We always see queues of people buying, taking away. Is always very crowded. They have a small store. So they are usually the one that will need to now needing a occupancy system. Retail stores, then this is a typical market as well. They are reopening, they're desperate to reopen, and compared to the amount of losses they make every day for closing their store, this investment to them is probably less than the day of sales loss for them. So in comparison, it is almost something very certain that they will need to invest in a system like this. Public venues, again, is probably an area where you normally do not target, like the banks. You obviously would be targeting shopping malls. They have already requiring people counting for their malls so that they can justify their rentals and all that. And they like to know zone analytics. They have a lot of use cases there. But for banks, they're starting to have demand for people counting, but now it is time where they really need a occupancy tracking. Government facilities, likewise, immigration center, hospitals, office buildings, libraries, and museums. So these are the new target market. So what do we support you? So getting started, we do offer an evaluation kit. So that kit is actually at a much reduced price than normal, but is a full working, full license kit. So you can use that to test it out, and then you will be able to sell that on as well. So it's just a very heavily reduced price there for you to get started with. So this is only one offer per partners. It includes the camera so that you can test out the people counting as well as the occupancy. It comes with the wall bracket. So in case, so we do have some optional accessories that if you need, like a drop pole, a wall bracket, so you can have that just in case you couldn't install it on a ceiling. So we also have staff exclusion tag. Now, this is some retailers might ask for staff exclusion because they don't want to count their staff within the occupancy, but we have a mixed demand for that. So some retailers do not, because their staff obviously make up the total part of the number of people inside their store, and they do need to count their staff. So you may not need that, but some customers do, then you can request that. The software, of course, is a lifetime license, and we offer the free delivery for this, but in the future there will be a minimum order delivery for to take advantage of the free delivery. So you will sign up. I'm including in here for the slides, so that in the end when we share the slides for you, you will have all these links so that you can get to our how to sign up, or if you already signed up, or the price list and all that. So how we help our partners to market in the region, we do have a reseller media pack that looks like this. So you can download it from this link. Let me find my reseller media pack. So probably I don't have it there, but from here, what it contains is the keywords, the SEO keywords, Google AdWords that you may want to use in your region. Is a suggestion there for you where we find a lot of traffics are coming in from those keywords, and also the website contents. So you'll be able to build a website like this with all the contents there on this page. So you'll be able to translate it. So for example, this one, our customers, our partners has translated into Spanish. So you'll be able to translate it into your local languages. We will provide you with all the links for the videos, for all the images and diagrams. So you can use it there. And also, we will also help you with a template for cold email. We call it a cold email because traditionally you call this as cold calls, but people don't call out now, so we send an email out. So we have a lot of partners, also ourselves, that find that this is a very, very effective way for this particular product. So usually for other products, they will just ignore your email, but with this one, we get a very high conversion rate. So we'll share that template. We also send you the PowerPoint template so that you can adapt it and put your logo on and all those, and change the things that you need for your meeting. We also will be passing local leads to you to follow up, and we do have a ring fence system. So if you're working with any specific customers that you are quite engage with. So you don't ring fence at the beginning of a communication. You ring fence where you are quite engaged with them in the project. Then you will tell us that this is a customers that you're working with. Then we will ring fence and protect your interest, so that obviously you wouldn't get competition from us or any of our other partners. Or that you may tell us that you are working with, we are going to work with somebody, and we might tell you that our other partners is already working with them, so that you don't waste your time and you can move on and work with other customer. Now, the key points, almost like the winning script for promoting this is obviously is to comply with the government safety regulation, and it is for them to be seen as using a high-tech, scientifically driven method. So they will feel that they have different methods. They can use the manual counting from the security guards as well as this method. So what you want to distinguish is that the business will be able to show their customers that they're using a high-tech, scientifically driven method. So for their employees, because employees and customers, they don't trust a man at the door. The customers at the door, if they have queued up for an hour, they're going to argue with the security guard and say, your store is still quite empty. Obviously they are, because it's not packed. I've waited for an hour. Why don't you just let me in? Things like this. And the employee inside, when they have served so many customers, and they naturally be worried about their health and safety, there again will be suspecting the company's hidden agenda, because after all, which business will try to limit their customers and reduce sales? So when they are having to serve a lot of customers, they will blame the security guard at the door to be too lenient and letting too many people in. So with a display screen at the door is very transparent. Not only is cost effective, it's very transparent. So when we say stop, then you stop, an alert will be sent to the staff to go and monitor that. So everything feels that is very transparent and above board. There is the widget for that. So a lot of retailers may not have realized that they could have some tools like this. So this is a tools for them so that they can again show a wider community. They have a system in place, and it's also being seen as taking a proactive approach to influence the distribution of their customer visit, and so to manage the customer's expectation. The other key feature for them, as I mentioned, it needs to be ready to use. So you might see that some of your customers say, we have tried to get our IT team to come up with something, or their system integrator to come up with something, but that is going to take a long time. Any development will take months. If you're trying to come up with a system within a month, that is almost quite unrealistic. So the reason why we're having it ready to use is because we have already have this system pre-COVID, and it has already been used by our customers for even mission critical crowd control. So we have already been using them for years, and we have a high accuracy. It is verified for video proof. I'll show you very shortly, and there is a long-term usage for that. And the total project cost is very low to the client, especially compared to the situation that we are in now. I'm going to show you the enterprise class software, which comes with the lifetime license with the hardware. I will have all these details here so that after this, you would be able to look into the link again. But here I'm going to show you an actual login. So what you do is you will get a username and account to log into this software. So in here you will have your usual analytics center. You'll be able to go and compare the different site, different time, comparing it to the different metrics on there. But for the live occupancy is that you will have a link so that you can display that. This is the link on your tablet that you can show to display, and then you will have your store occupancy dashboard for that. You also have the that link so that you are actually looking at your actual occupancy at the store. It is being updated every second. Actually is a little bit less than a second. So in a minute, you actually be having more than 60 updates on there. So the store manager will be able to see that what is their current occupancy there. You'll be also able to reset the threshold because when the lockdown is slowly lifted, they may be allowed to increase the capacity as it goes along. So they will be able to change that. Right. And the different reports. So you will have a company report here. So all the different reports that you can have there. So we have company level reports, which are for top management, and site reports, which are for store manager. So the reports are like this, where I could have, I'm just trying to find you that. So a live occupancy. So this is a different live occupancy report. These are more for buildings, for shopping malls, where they have for offices. So for hospitals as well. So where you put the camera, so for example, on your ground floor, you have two entrances, you put two cameras there, you'll be able to get the total occupancy of your whole building. So this is your capacity that you will set, and this is the live occupancy now inside your building, and you can have a utilization rate on that. Now then, if you then install some cameras on the lifts and escalator, like the lifts, staircases, escalators, you then be able to split your occupancy per floor. So the 270, you will be able to see 100 of them are now on ground floor, 120 are actually on first floor, and first floor is nearing the maximum capacity. So when you display this, for example, for an offices, you display it on the intranet, then the employee will start not to go on to first floor, instead use the facility on the second floor because second floor is still underutilized. So this one again will divert traffic to the appropriate area. And then, for example, this office is that they will then install cameras into the individual room. So usually you will be installing this in phases. So the first phase would probably be only just installing on the main entrances. And then the second phase would then be doing it at the different floor levels. So it is a low start point, which a lot of offices, obviously a lot of customers would like that. But it gives you a way to then get into them and for more future opportunity. So with this one, it is a very popular one. So what this one is for energy optimization and facility management, facility utilization analysis as well. So they are finding that, for example, this room is now reaches maximum capacity, but this room is empty. So apart from for the COVID-19 is something for employee to be able to go and see, okay, now I better not go into that room, but I can start using that room or even this because these are underutilized. So it is somewhere they can do. So for example, we are already working with hospitals, a lot of research labs, because research labs, laboratories, do scientific research, especially in the medical field, they are still full on working, especially for obviously the COVID-19 research, but they still need to observe the social distancing. So they have, whatever the facility they have in their offices, in their laboratory, they need to be able to have a system for their employee to utilize to make use during the day, so that they can move around during the day accordingly. For this one, this is all pre-COVID that we have already done. So for example, with this one for facility management is that, okay, looking at this lecture hall is always underutilized. So instead of one big lecture hall, they're going to split this lecture hall into two smaller ones. So things like this, and this is like the cafeteria area. So again, this is what similar to the widget. This is something we have already developed for them to stagger the employee lunchtime. So they would put that in their intranet, so that employee, before they leave the desk, they can check on the how busy it is at the catering facility. How is the queue like at the buffet area or the counter, and how is the occupancy in the seating area, so that they can see whether or not they should go down now, whether or not they need to queue to get their food, and if they get their food, would they be able to get a seat. So again, because from the catering department, they're always very peak for that 1 or 1.5 hours. They really want to be able to stagger it to even a 4 or 5 hours time, so that employee would come in at a different time. So again, this was already done for that. There are other reports, so I will go through the reports very quickly just to showcase how many reports they are getting. So for example, this is a very popular one, is a company level weekly report on occupancy. So for the top management, they'll be able to see all the total visitor across their estate. This is always something they would really like to know, because this is business. And how many outside that come in, how long their customers stay in their store. It has reduced, so then obviously it's something that they will, top management will really want to look into that. Returning rate, sales conversion, best store, worst store, their footfall across their region, visitor count by month, by week, by day, last 7-day trend compared to last year. What is the changes? Looking at outside traffic, so how many people are outside and then how many people come in, so that they will see when is their opportunity. Because if there are not a lot of people outside, then obviously there won't be too many people coming in. That's a natural fact. But for example, here they are seeing that at this point, you still have a lot of people outside, but why are people not coming in? So this is something the store manager can change. Maybe the queue were too long at that time because these people come in at that time, now they are queuing, and that puts people off from coming in, for example, or that this is probably, this again, another opportunity that maybe store manager can do something outside their store, maybe hand out a sample or do a demonstration or whatever, hand out a leaflet at there. And probably this hour they can close early because there's no traffic outside and there's no people coming in. So these are things that they can manage their business much better. These are the data that they really would be wanting if they don't already have. Visit duration, again, same thing. They would want to see that, you know, this is like 21% of my customers stay less than 15 minutes. So those are the bounds. So they come in and then they walk out again. These are the ones that are probably browsing 15 to 30 minutes that they stay in there. And these are the ones that are really seriously making a purchase. This is more than 30 minutes. Or they might see it that they don't have enough staff at the cashier. That's why the customer have to queue, or they have to queue for the fitting room and things like this. So with them, they are able to make data-driven action plan to improve their business. Returning customer, likewise, so their loyalty, 17% are returning customer. So their marketing department, their loyalty scheme, they might want to improve or see what they can do about that. Sales conversion, again, for retailers, that are really important. Marketing effectiveness report, this is very important even for non-retailer, because if they run any campaign, they have any changes, or even, we call it marketing effectiveness, but it's actually any campaign. It can be a staff training that they have run and they want to see the effect of that. It can be, you know, any TV advertisement that have put in, or any newsletter that have sent out. So they're looking at the start and end of that campaign, and then they're looking at on the metrics before, during, and after the campaign to see whether or not, okay, this one, it has increased the footfall coming in, the turn-in rate, the dwell time, returning customer, and obviously sales conversion. So they want to see that. Heat map, hot and cold zone within the store. You probably have already got a lot of demand from that. This will require many cameras inside the store. So that they want to see which is their popular area. Again, they want to relay out their store layout and things like this. So this is something, again, experience center, occupancy, overall site summary with that, and with area, different zone on there. And this is something we've gone through. This is, again, another one for more shopping malls, for departmental stores, for museums, which is very popular because they want to see which exhibits are more popular, because sometimes certain exhibits, they might be applying for grant, for fundings. They want to justify their funding, or they can actually then gauge which one is more popular than the other, and also you know, where it's more crowded. And for shopping malls, likewise, they might then see that, okay, if I'm running an event here, I'm actually also bringing traffic into that area. So I can justify to my tenants that because although you are a quieter time, you have a quieter traffic usually, but whenever I run an event, it actually brings more traffic to you. So again, all this is some data that they can work upon. So shopping malls is one of the key sector that will really require occupancy now, because not only the shops need to manage the occupancy within their shops, the mall will also need to manage that, because they have communal area, they have the corridor, they have the food court area that they need to manage the occupancy as well. So shopping mall have like zone analytics. Sometimes they would like to see, if people are going into a certain zone, which zone are more popular. They might find that, oh, actually, even on the second floor, we are actually quite busy. And then the traffic flow. Oh, sorry, a zone at different time of the day, at the different zone, what is a traffic count, and where do people travel? So people all come in with their main entrance, and then how many percentage goes into zone 2, and then how many then go on to the other zones. So these are something that they could do. We have already been doing this for many shopping malls, as well as now doing a lot for campuses, for universities, for big office campus, where they have factory and all those big HQ, headquarters, where they have multiple buildings. We are actually doing cross building as well. So you're also seeing at different time where people go, where people move, so that again, it's for them for facility utilization analysis for that. We also have facility management. So this is probably something I will mention a bit shortly later for those extra features on there. Coming back with the software, so you will have all those different reports that we have depending on what their use case is, and also we do customized report for them as well. But now we want to talk about maintenance, because this is an enterprise level software. We have maintenance, health check, all built in within the software to provide the tools for easy management. So you have an issue tracker here. So in here, you will have set up all the different branches, and within the branches, you will set up all the different cameras. And here is where you'll be able to have a look at all the cameras that you have in your premises. So blue light indicates everything is working well. The data is counting and is connected to the server. You have different lights: the green light, yellow light, white light, red light, all showing different issue. Any system message will be here. Your customer will be able to see their verification report easily on here. If they have any issue, they can raise their support ticket here, and we'll feedback here. Now I want to mention a little bit more about the verification. So for each installation, what we do for you, for each camera that you install, this is for a shopping mall. For each camera that you install, we will go in to draw the counting line, counting zone for you. And then what we do is we record a video. So it looks something like this. I'll speed it up a little so that you can see some activity. I'll probably go to. So then a video is recorded. We have a team. We call ourselves the verification team. What they do is they log in. They will watch this video and do a manual counting. So basically, we then look at that count. I want to draw your attention to just now where a child came in and he was not counted. So we can exclude children, because if you then see this is a child, he's not counted because he is shorter than 1.3 meter. This you will see is the number on top of the head is the height of the person. Because it is a 3D camera, we are actually able to see the height of a person. So that's why the accuracy is very, very high on there. So what we do is we sit down and do a manual count on there, and then we compare it with the system count. So this is the system count. The system count is what you have on your software here. On here. So you'll be able to always cross-check at this time what count is that. So this is the system count, and then this is the menu observation. Now the video is always there, so your customer or yourself will be able to play back the video. You can do your counting yourself to see whether it's actually indeed 45. So combining a few video down there, you will get a total count. So that this one is, we counted 119, but the system only counted 116. So there is a discrepancy of 3. And so the accuracy is 97%. So at the end of the day, for each installation, we tune it and we verified it until it is above 95%. So we don't just claim that we are above 95%. We actually prove that with each single installation. With this, you are giving you peace of mind to yourself, obviously, that you're installing a very accurate system. and also for your customers. The reason why we have this is that the customer will always question an accuracy. Even though however much you have done during the beginning, they will always question it. Typically for retailers, because retailers are always using it as a sales conversion, as a store performance measurements. So when the top management is saying to the store and say, now your sales conversion is not good, it's very low. So you have so many people coming in, but your sales is not high enough. So you need to improve your performance. Or else, right? So the store manager will say, no, I actually do not have that many people coming in. The system, the people counting system is not accurate. So it is because of these that we have actually replaced many different brands out there. We have done a lot of replacement, thousands of them. It is because the top management, the director have come to us and say, the sales conversion rate is a key KPI for us. We always have to have that. But the system that we currently have is not accurate because my staff said they are not accurate. So it is always in an endless loop of replacing different brands because the top management can't do much about it. Because if there's a complaint, then they will have to make action. So with this one, you will have a peace of mind, and they can have a peace of mind because even if it's half a year down the line, if they question any accuracy, they can always go and record a video and they can look at it. If the accuracy is indeed not accurate, they can notify us, we can retune it, and to again go through the whole verification study again and provide them with an accuracy of more than 95%. So this is a way where we properly manage a system for them, and so that they will have a system that will last them for years, which is highly accurate. So this is a way where they have issue tracker. We also have health check in place. So this is where we constantly throughout the day, we do a few checks on the camera. We check whether or not they are online. If they are online, whether they are counting. And if they're counting, whether the data actually gone into the server. So for example, in here, this one, they have 129 sites. Altogether, they have 137 counters because some sites, they have more than one counter. So we tell them that you have 120 sites that are okay, but you have 8 sites that are offline. And so you will see what are the reasons for it being offline. So for example, this is pending customer feedback. So one of the reasons, most of the reason is that they are undergoing a refurbishment. So they are renovating. So the cameras are temporarily disconnected, reset to factory default. Then after the renovation, they will plug it back on again. If they have closed down the store, they usually then just delete that site off their list, so it wouldn't be there. But it's usually during the refurbishment that they need it to be reconnected back, then they will still have the camera serial number there for that. Some are obviously just newly installed, so they are in the tuning phase. So again, any accuracy issue, we detect that and it will be there. We also send out an alert. So an alert will be sent to the person in charge. It can be their head of IT or their IT team, or if they're on a support contract, it can be to you or to us, so that we will be alerted when there is an issue on there. So this is the health check to make sure the camera is counting and online. Now then, what if the camera is counting and it has data? Is that data good enough to use? So this is what we do on the data integrity. So what we say is the total number of people coming in, they will go up at the end of the day. So we are wanting to see the same number there. But of course, no system is 100% accurate, but we say we accept when it's higher than 95%. So this discrepancy, we want to see it being lower than 5%. So for example, here, it is lower than 0.14% of a discrepancy. So these are some tools there for us to look at. Again, if there is anything that is untowards, then an alert will be sent out. These are different tools there to allow us to see any unusual peak or any unusual drop in the footfall. And we also have historical snapshots of the camera. So this is showing the left lens, and this is the right lens, and this is the configuration of that camera. So for example, this one, we want to have a historical snapshot. Every month we have that, so that a customer will see that, oh, okay, now we are close, obviously, or why is it not counting accurately now? Or why do I suddenly have unusually low count? Then we can come in to look at the camera angle now and compare it to the original angle, and we might find that, oh, that's because they have put a bunch of balloons at the entrance and it's blocking the camera view, or they have dangling sales banner dangling down from the ceiling, or the camera has been knocked out of angle. They might have done, an engineer may have come and do their lightings, or things like this, and they have touched the camera and now it's out of angle. So we need to retune and things like this. So this is the tools that is already there and is going all the time automatically for them to be able to manage that. They obviously have all those settings. They can set up their sites, so different sites. On there, they can add sites, add different cameras, change cameras to the different branches. They can schedule the email notification alert users, so they can add or delete any of the colleagues. So each individual employee will have their own username and password to log in. They can import, export data, upload their floor plan to, for example, the Amway, that kind of, a lot of the occupancy will probably want to have a floor plan like this, so they can upload that and do all the configuration there. So this is about the enterprise level software. There are two options. We host it on our cloud that is free to use. So many customers, even big retail chains, they make use of that because they feel that then they don't have to maintain. Everything is there. After all, these are aggregated data. It's not any business sensitive data for them. So they are happy with that. But some do have their IT policy where they want to have everything on premise. Probably not on premise, but in their own corporate server in the HQ. So they will then be able to install this whole software, whole platform onto their server. We also have our partners that they install it on their server, so that they are being seen. They are the one who are providing the services to the customers. So the options are there. So we have, so in here, in these slides that we will share later, we will have all these links to the different reports where you can download and have a look at, and also showcase it to your customer. So we've talked about the software. I want to very briefly talk about the hardware. So on the hardware, many of you have already used our hardware. You have seen that. But for those who are new, we are a 3D camera, so with the two lenses. So 3D is like your eyes. So if you're not familiar with 2D and 3D, so 2D is when you're having one camera and you're looking at an image like a photo. So everything is flat. You wouldn't be able to distinguish which one is taller, which one is shorter, which one is near and far. So with two lenses, like our eyes, where we have two eyes, we're actually seeing things on the left side and the right side slightly differently. Then when our brain processes that, we will be able to tell which one is nearer and which one is further away. So likewise, when we have this and we have the brain, obviously the computer inside the camera, when we mount it on the ceiling looking down, we will be able to see the taller person obviously nearer to the camera and the shorter person a bit further from the camera. That's how we measure the height of a person. And we also have the Wi-Fi dongle there. So this is the one that we're tracking, the Wi-Fi. So we do track the MAC address of all the phones that the customer is carrying. But however, rest assured, it is all exempt from GDPR because we anonymize them. So we have a full document on that in case you need to share it with your customer. So we have the GDPR exempt fact sheet and full documentation of how that is achieved. So you can share that with their data protection officer. So within here, it is a full-on computer. So unlike any camera out there, they're usually using it as an eye. The computer, the chipset in there is quite limited in function. The reason being because there's not a lot of things a camera needs to do. However, for us, because we're doing so many functions, like we mentioned just now with the people counting, or the dwell time tracking, returning customer, occupancy, queue counting, we can do all those things concurrently. The reason being that is because we have a very powerful computer in there. It is like a laptop there just doing people counting. So that brings into the next design where we're actually having a metal alloy casing. So a lot of all the other cameras out there are plastic. The reason being is plastic, you can mold it to any shape and form you like. It can be very aesthetic design. For us, we will find that it's a very engineering, although we call it a very slick and simple design, but you will find that it's quite an engineering device. We reference this design. We're referencing the rover that goes on to planet Mars, the NASA rover as well as the European one. This is how we are putting it. So the design is the further apart your lenses, the more accurate depth map that you are going to create. We call it the depth map. When we create the 3D map of a person's height, we call it the depth map. So the rover that goes on to planet Mars obviously is much wider apart. The reason being because that machine, that vehicle there will need to maneuver the terrain unmanned. Obviously, they're only sending a robot up there. So this is something that we reference there. The reason with the metal alloy is more expensive and obviously is quite limited on how the design could look. You will see that we don't have a fancy dome. The reason being there is twofold. One is so that the main thing is for heat dissipation. So because when your laptop, you will see that your laptop is all metal casing. When you touch your laptop is warm. That is because the heat is being dissipated from the CPU to the casing to the surrounding environment. So this is very important. The reason being is because we have put in a powerful computer there. Then obviously the purpose of it is to run powerful algorithm, and image processing algorithm is very intensive. The reason is because you're running it real time, because a person walk into the door within seconds. They're taking 2 or 3 seconds and they will have walked past the door already. So you are needing to do multiple frame per second, and you need to do the image processing in real time. So unlike because a lot of the image processing algorithm is very intensive in order for it to be accurate, and also because a lot of time they do not need to do it real time. The purpose of the original image processing algorithm, a lot of time they are processing a recorded video. So they do not need it to run real time. They can have a powerful server to run it. But now we are talking about edge technology where we are actually running on the camera. So you are running a multiple algorithm as well concurrently. So there's a lot of heat generated. So you want to dissipate that away from the CPU very quickly so that the CPU will continue to operate in the optimal temperature. Now this is so to also reduce the maintenance. When your CPU heat up, obviously it will hang and it will stop working. So it is very important that your heat is dissipated very quickly so that it can continue running. This feature alone has also made our lifetime, the durability of our cameras to 25 years. So the measured mean time to failure is 25 years for our device. We obviously hope your customers will replace them much sooner. We're hoping every 5 years they will then require a new upgrade for that. But this is the importance of that design. The other design on the hardware side is what we call a triple redundancy. This is operating system. So this one, we reference the aircraft double redundancy design. The aircraft is designed that excuse me, are we going to mute your mic, please?
No, it's a meeting.
Oh, it is a meeting.
Yeah.
Excuse me, if you could mute your mic. Thank you. So, so this is a triple redundancy where we are referencing the aircraft design. So in your aircraft, you'll notice that you have the engines on each side of the wing. The design of it is that way. If one engine fails, God forbid, that the remaining engine will actually be able to land you safely. So that's the design of the aircraft. So we use that. Is that a little bit over engineering for us? For our tiny little camera there. But what we do is we put in 3 OS operating system. Now your laptop, your tablet, or any of your electronic device, you only have one operating system, be it iOS, Android, Windows, or anything. It is one operating system. So what it does is a very common thing that if you run too many programs for too long, it will then hang. What you do then is you reboot your device. So which is very simple, no big deal. However, you wouldn't want to do that when your camera is actually installed on the ceiling at your customer site and when you have installed thousands of them. So you want to reduce all this maintenance. So that's why we put in 3 OS there. So when the first OS goes down, goes hang, then the second OS will continue counting. So the counting will not stop. And it will also be able to send a command back to the first one to reboot it, whilst the third one is acting as a backup. So then this is always on a triple redundancy system. So this is the design that we have put in on our hardware. We have many more, but then I won't discuss that here. So I will quickly be at the end of my presentation now. I will go through some frequently asked questions because you might have that questions in your mind as well. So what if you have multiple entrances to your premises? So can they deal with multiple doors? Yes, we can deal with multiple doors. So when you have 3 doors, then you will have 3 cameras at these 3 separate doors. You also have sometimes have very, very wide door. So one entrance, you may need to have 2 or 3 cameras. So we deal with that as well. So we deal that on the software level. And so, for example, if you're having 3 entrances going into an area, that total occupancy of that area will be the combined data from all the 3 doors. So in that display, it will display a combined occupancy for that area. So if anyone goes in from any of those doors, that occupancy data will be updated. And if anyone left, again, it will be updated likewise. So what you will do is you will display a screen in the entrance that you allow people to go in. You don't necessarily have to put a display screen on those that is exit only. You obviously will put a camera at the exit so that you count how many people go out, because then that will update your occupancy level. But you won't need a display screen there because you only need a screen there for customer facing. You only need a screen there where the customer will see when they go in. So how do we activate the feature to integrate the counters with the electronic door? We do have we do need to put the 2 wire into the camera. So you will need to request us to do that when you order, and you will say, this is one thing that we will want to integrate with the automatic door. Of course, you can do it reciprocally. You can do it after you have installed it on there. It's just a little bit more involving when putting the cable in. So if you know very sure that this is going to be used to integrate with the door, you can let us know. We can do that for you. Now we have all those wiring diagram for you to do that, but it will be you will need to let us know so that we put in there. We activate that control for you. So you're planning to use your own display tablet. We will say any Android tablet that is version 9 and above. We don't provide the stand, but you'll be able to easily source it online. Or if you're really struggling, we could probably share any sources that we know for your region. And where can I get the live occupancy app? So it's either on an app on your Android tablet, or we have a link that we can share with you. It will be specific for each of your customers. So you will need to have the system already in place, set up. Then we'll be able to send you that link, because that link would then comes in with your username and password so that you can display it on any screen you have. So we do have a setup guide that we can share with you. And here are all the different useful links that you can have after this that you need to do. Q&A session. So now I will go into a Q&A session where I'll stop my recording. So if you want to ask any question, please do unmute your mic so you can speak. I do want to draw your attention that maybe you want to subscribe to our FootfallCam YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is just called FootfallCam, because from time to time we will update any videos that we record on there, so that you can keep up to date with that. So I'm going to stop share and I'm going to stop my recording now. So